In today's book haul, we got roasted almond unsweetened milk, pots of joy, and for my cravings, a strawberry milkshake, which I shall devour during this filming.
Hashtag
thing.
not sponsored. I never even bought like a single serving milkshake, like ever in my life.
Okay.
Today's video is actually about
tips for buying books in a charity shop.
Yes. So you might know Guest Spinster Robyn. We're doing this all wrong. Hello and welcome to Spinster's Library. I'm Claudia, this is Robyn.
That was brief.
So we usually do book hauls together. There is a playlist linked above Robyn's head, and we always buy our books in charity shops. When
we're together, our kind of routine is to grab our haul bags. This is the first time I've used mine. And we shoot off down our local high street, and we start at the very top and work our way back down, as Claudia lives nearby, so it's quite helpful to kind of pick the books up at the beginning, slowly build our collection, and then when we're breaking our shoulders, we're nearly home. So that's cool. And we've got a range of charity shops with loads of different books and
really different types of shops.
Yeah.
So today we want to give some advice if you've thought about buying books in a charity shop, or if you buy books in a charity shop anyway, this might still be helpful.
Yeah, and also like, it's just fun. Charity shops were kind of a new thing for me. I lived abroad, I lived in the Middle East, and they don't have charity shops there. So when I came back, it was like, I just found it bizarre. I was like, why would you buy someone's old hand-me-downs, and why would you go into a shop that smells like a bit
I guess in Dubai culture, you wouldn't do that.
No, everyone's got enough money to buy, well,
shiny new things, yeah.
Most people. I didn't. Once I got into just the idea of buying from charity shops, then when I got into reading, it just was such a cool thing. I was
really
like, wow,
obvious,
because you've literally got so many options. And again, I was new to reading last year, so it was a great way for me to explore. So even if you are new to reading, it's quite fun to kind of just
build up your library.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Where do we start? I think our first piece of advice for going charity shop book shopping is bring your own bags.
Yeah, it's so helpful. I never have a bag with me, but because I knew I was book hauling today, I was like, I'm gonna bring the bag that Claudia got me.
I generally bring bags anyway. I think it's just a German thing.
Yeah, it is. But we're getting there. We're getting there, British culture.
Because charity shops, they don't tend to have their own carrier bags. I mean, apart from the fact you should try and avoid getting carrier bags where you can.
Yeah.
They don't tend to have their own, so they're kind of using the bags that people donate to them.
Yeah.
So if you've got your own, it just makes it a bit easier for them and for you. And if you get a really cute one like mine with books and cats, or Robyn's with
shiny spines,
you're telling the world what you're there for.
So the second step, something that I personally do, and I think you do it sometimes as well, is we check our Goodreads TBR to see kind of things that we've looked at and we've scanned before, or we've found on Goodreads, or have been recommended to us, or whatever. So before we've even gone out, we've already got the idea in our head of the books we like, the authors we're looking out for, and then suddenly, you know, the books kind of pop out at you with these names and titles that you've pre-prepared,
that you recognise.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea, because in charity shops sometimes you'll find very specific books that you're looking for. You've certainly found some very specific books that you were looking for.
Yeah, but
more often than not, you're just browsing. You know, you're not really there for a specific book. If you find it, it's the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
But more likely than not, you'll just go, oh yeah, that author is, you know, someone I put on my to-read list or whatever.
Yeah, and also like that title is familiar and that kind of thing.
Something else that I like to do is actually use my Goodreads phone app in store.
Yeah. Because
it's got this fantastic function called Scan Books, and you can just hold up a title and then scan it, and it'll bring up the Goodreads page of that specific book.
Scanning. Okay, average rating is 3.63. Not bad. Yeah, and I found sometimes you have labels all over it with charity shop stickers and stuff like that, so you can actually switch it around and scan the barcode as well, which is really, yeah, it's really helpful. You know, if it doesn't recognise the edition or something like that, just scan the barcode and it will come up as well, which is really helpful. And again, you can look at the sort of average reviews, so you get a good idea. If it's a book that you really have never heard of but you like the sound of, it's a good way to kind of get to know it that way as well.
What I like to do is I like to scroll down and then see how my friends reviewed it and people who I follow.
Yeah.
Because I usually follow people whose reviews I trust. So it's usually fellow booktubers, and then I can see what other people have said about that book.
Yeah, I've actually done that. I've seen yours before. Every charity shop has its own kind of way of sorting the books, so genre or just no sorting whatsoever.
Most of them, really.
Most of them are just random. They just, okay, we've got some books, let's put them on a shelf. So here we are, we've got some books.
So these are not sorted very clearly.
You should look out to see if there is a certain way of sorting, because I personally, I always go straight to the crime thriller section, so if I'll have a look around, see where that is and go to that section.
So here we've got a bookshelf that is actually sorted by genre. It's not sorted within the genre, but that's pretty good.
But again, it might not be in alphabetical order. It's so random. Every shop is different.
Yes.
Every shop we go to is different. There's one that just sorts it from, this has got hardbacks and this has got, you know, paperbacks.
Actually, something else that most charity shops do is they split children's and adult books.
Yes,
because the kids' books tend to be with the toys. Have you noticed?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so that's, you know, it's a good way to kind of see how it's structured, to give yourself a bit of structure as well. Our local Oxfam's are really good for sorting, so it is in alphabetical order.
It looks like a little bookshop.
It really does. It's in alphabetical alphabetical order by author name, and also it's in the different genres, which is really helpful, especially for someone like me. When I was first getting into it, I kind of had an idea of what I was into, so I could just go straight to that section, just indulge myself in that. Definitely worth sussing out the layout of the charity shop as well.
Rare books and collectibles tend to be behind glass next to the till, so if you're after specific like first editions or signed books or whatever, a lot of the time they'll be locked away. Alright, so Robyn's particular skill is the reading sideways. You don't have to demonstrate now because there is footage of that.
Oh yeah. I forgot about all that. So when I check out some books, I tend to do this and read along the spines like so. And this way I get to see all of the authors and titles and see how pretty the covers are. Yellow. I love yellow.
Yes, basically scanning the books. And what do you look out for when you do that?
So when I first started reading, obviously I had no authors that were familiar, didn't really know of any book names, so actually for me it was looking at colours and titles that were, oh, that sounds interesting. Now I'm a bit more sort of clued up in the book world. I tend to look out for titles that I've heard of. I do still look at covers because I am still new to reading, so I do look at the covers and see if there's like an interesting design or if something stands out to me. Today I picked one up from historical fiction, which we'll talk about in another video, but you know, it was just because the cover was really interesting, and it actually got me to read the blurb, and I was like, oh, actually this sounds pretty cool, and I would never have looked at it otherwise. Authors, familiar authors, you know. So
buying by cover is a really good idea generally, because covers are made to sell the books.
Yeah.
So a cover designer will think about what kind of person will this cover appeal to, what kind of person will the book appeal to, and then they mix the two together.
You made a good point earlier saying, don't you know, the saying is don't judge a book by its cover, but you kind of have to, especially if you're new. Yeah,
that's how it works. Although on the flip side, you get books that you know are good but that just have awful covers. Basically anything sort of designed between the 60s and the 80s is just terrible, even if the books might be good. You know, photos of people on covers, just can't deal with that. No.
I was like, I can't be seen reading that on a bus. No.
Prices.
So where to find the prices in books? So in some charity shops,
like this
we've
one,
got an example. Yeah, you've got a sticker right on the front, and it says exactly how much it is. It's the barcode. Everything is there for you. So that's really helpful because it's right there. You can see the price. But then I found it interesting when I was in Oxfam and some other ones. They're inside, and I never even thought to look. I was looking at the front and the back, and I was like, where is the price?
Yeah.
So this is really frustrating for people who are new to shopping in charity shops, because you expect to just look on the back and it being there. This example has actually got it where you'd expect to find it.
So if there's no price, check the inside cover. If there's no price there, have a look around the shop, because a lot of the times the prices will just be on signs. So it'll say something like paperbacks 50p, or it'll say 3 paperbacks for £1 or something like that. Then when you get to the till, this is something that we weren't quite sure whether to include in this video or not, because we personally don't tend to, but you can technically haggle at the till in charity shops. Depends on the charity shop again, you know, some chains probably have policies against it, some are a little bit more loose about this. We have got friends who do that on regular. And get some good bargains that way. I think, for me personally, I would feel uncomfortable if I was buying just a couple of books. You know, I'd feel uncomfortable haggling, because it is a charity shop. You know, the whole point is to give money to charity. That is the point of these shops. And so it almost feels like a sin to haggle in a charity shop. But there was one occasion that I did actually haggle, and I did actually get some money off, and it was simply because I'd bought maybe 4 or 5 books, and because of the way they priced it, it came to a really awkward price, and I wasn't going to round it up to, you know, I don't know, £6 or whatever. So instead of it being £5.65, I just said, oh, could I get them for £5.50? And they did grant me that, but they weren't too excited about it. And so I think, you know, you only live once. I tried it, I felt uncomfortable, they probably did as well. I'm not going to do it again unless I'm buying loads of books, which is not going to happen in one shot very often. So it's, I guess it's just a personal, I don't tend to either, because honestly, like, £1.50 for a book is so cheap already. That
it's not worth it.
I'm fine paying that. Although what I definitely have done with clothing from charity shops before, if it is damaged, bring it up and they will give you a discount. So probably you could do the same with books. You know, if a book was in really, really bad condition, maybe you could say, listen, the cover's coming off, can I have this for 50p or whatever? But that's not something I've personally tried, although like I said, I have done it with clothing. You know, we've got a video on, we already tagged that. What? On the charity shop buying. Oh, I did a video on the ethics of buying second-hand books. So have a look at that video as well, just if you're interested, above my head, because I think charity shop book buying is, broadly speaking, a good thing. It is. Yes. And especially if you are looking to broaden your horizon. I've kind of drifted out the crime thriller thing for a bit now, just because I want to try other things. So it's just a really cool way of just exploring books that you wouldn't pick up otherwise in a huge fancy bookshop with books that cost an arm and a leg. £10, yeah. Well, I just get the huge majority of my books in charity shops. And the last time I didn't, I regretted it the day after when I found that same book in a charity shop. No! So, there you go. Right, let us know if you buy books in charity shops. If you have any tips that we haven't mentioned, if you have advice, down below, please. We're all interested to learn a little bit more about how you get a good bargain in a charity shop. Yeah, and I'm quite curious to know kind of your own personal ways of looking for books as well. I do feel a bit awkward with the sideways head tilt, but it gets the job done and I get some cool books from it. I just straight up cannot read sideways, so... Let us know, and we'll be really interested to see what you come back with. Good to see you all again, or talk to you all again, because I never get to see you. Thanks for watching! Bye! Minerva. Obligatory. Minerva. Minerva Burble. We're in a charity shop. Oh god, yes, that's very natural. That's exactly what we do every time we go charity shopping. Yeah, we just lean and look really cool. She fell. What you doing down there, huh? I was trying. I don't know, I was trying to be cool. She's looking at the baking section. I'm not looking at the baking. You fell over.